Hello, friends. We are continuing on with the fanfiction What the Morning Gave Us, and we're going to be doing Chapter 2 Steam and Sparks. Kirishima wiped down the last table near the window, the early morning sun casting soft golden streaks across the worn wood. The cafe was quiet now, the hum of the espresso machine the only sound filling the warm air. The smell of freshly ground coffee beans lingered like an old friend, comforting and familiar. He glanced towards the door, almost expecting to see Bakugo storm in, coffee order in hand, and scowl firmly in place. But it was still too early for Bakugo. The thought made Kirishima smile, a little too fondly. He shook his head, pretending to busy himself arranging pastries into the display case. It wasn't like he thought about Bakugo that much, just a little. Footsteps echoed outside, soft but steady. Kirishima's heart gave a subtle tug as the door swung open and the unmistakable storm of energy followed in. All right, one black coffee, no sugar, no nonsense, Bakugo grunted in his familiar, rough voice. Kirishima grinned, already reaching for the grinder. You got it, Baku bro, same as always. Bakugo muttered something about the music being terrible again as he slid onto his usual stool at the counter, eyes flickering somewhere past Kirishima's shoulder, never quite landing on him. As the machine steamed, Kirishima caught himself watching the way Bakugo's jaw tightened just a little, like he was holding something back. Maybe today would be the day Bakugo finally said what Kirishima had never been able to. Or maybe not. Either way, Kirishima was here, ready with the coffee and the quiet. Kirishima set the steaming cup in front of Bakugo with a soft clink. Long day already? He asked, wiping his hands on his apron. Bakugo scowled but didn't deny it. Instead, he stared into the dark liquid like it held some kind of answer. Yeah, day's barely started and it's already pissing me off. Kirishima chuckled. That bad, huh? Well, at least you're here. Bakugo's eyes flicked up briefly, sharp and unreadable. Yeah, well, don't get used to it. Kirishima smiled, leaning on the counter, just a bit closer, careful not to crowd him. You don't have to say anything, bro. I get it. Bakugo blinked, surprised by the softness in Kirishima's tone, then looked away, jaw clenched tighter. Silence stretched between them, comfortable but charged. Finally, Bakugo sighed. The fire in his eyes dimmed just a touch. Maybe I'm just tired of pretending I don't need this. He nodded towards the counter, but didn't look up. Kirishima's heart skipped. You don't have to pretend here. Bakugo looked up, the faintest crack in his usual armor. Don't get soft on me. Kirishima laughed quietly, the warmth between them growing. Wouldn't dream of it. The two sat in a quiet rhythm. Outside, a car rolled by, muffled by glass. Inside, the hum of the cafe, the slow drip of the coffee brewer, the unspoken understanding stretching out between them. It was the kind of silence that didn't ask to be filled, but left room for something if you were brave enough to speak. Bakugo drained the last of his coffee, setting the cup down with a decisive thud. You ever think about getting a tattoo? Bakugo asked, suddenly curious. Kirishima raised his eyebrows, surprised by the change in topic. I mean, I know I said I'd get a tiny coffee cup tattooed on my bicep. I was just messing, bro. Bakugo shook his head, a small grin tugging at his lips. What, like a different dumb design? Kirishima chuckled as he rubbed the back of his neck, eyes drifting to the counter. Not something dumb, something that means something. Something personal. Bakugo's eyes darkened, and Kirishima caught the flicker of something beneath the surface. Bakugo's smirk shifted, his usual sharp edge softening just a bit. Yeah, I've got something like that. Kirishima blinked, surprised. Really? I thought most of yours were just designs, like tribal or whatever. Bakugo shrugged, rolling up his sleeve to reveal a few bold tattoos, flames, sharp lines, aggressive shapes. Those are the loud ones, the ones everyone sees. He glanced down at his arm, voice dropping. The ones that actually mean something, I keep that hidden, a place only I get to see. Kirishima's chest tightened at the thought, like Bakugo was guarding a piece of himself in secret, just like how Kirishima felt sometimes around him. He leaned on the counter again, quieter this time. Yeah, I guess the ones that matter most don't really need to be seen by everyone. Bakugo glanced at him, expression unreadable, and Kirishima smiled just a little. Still, kind of makes me wonder what you've got tucked away, you know? Feels like there's a story there. Bakugo smirked, this time with something slower behind it, a little edge, a little invitation. Get in my chair and maybe I'll tell you. Kirishima huffed a soft laugh, but there was no teasing in his eyes. Yeah, that all it takes? Bakugo's gaze lingered for a beat longer than usual. Depends on what you're asking. Kirishima didn't answer right away. He just held his stare steady and open. I'll be in soon. Bakugo blinked, and something unreadable passed across his face. He didn't push it. Huh? Kirishima stepped back from the counter, wiping his hands on a towel, but the smile tugging at his lips was softer now. Guess you'll find out soon enough. Bakugo stood up from his stool, movement slower than usual. Just don't get something dumb. Kirishima grinned as he leaned against the espresso machine and watched Bakugo head for the door. Wouldn't dream of it. The bell above the door jingled as Bakugo stepped into the street, the morning light catching on the edge of one of his visible tattoos. Kirishima watched him go, heart warm and a little unsteady. He didn't know exactly when the idea had turned into a decision, but he knew what he wanted inked onto his skin, and he knew who it was for. Thank you guys for listening to Chapter 2. Chapter 3 will be out soon.